challenge of Nigeria had always been the question of corruption. Every problem is an opportunity for a few to make money.
The question I'll ask myself is, the previous was, how have they been handling this? How come it's becoming open because we've got Boko Haram attacking us here and there? How have they been doing this?
Buying arms does not give security. What gives security is constructive planning, training and retraining, strategic operations, more importantly, intelligence and confidence and commitment on the part of the military, wherever they are.
Hello there. You're welcome to this week's episode of Patito's Gang. Today we are looking at the $1 billion loan request by President Goodluck Jonathan to equip the Nigerian military to be able to handle the insurgents. Over the years, the insurgents have taken over some part of Nigeria in the north, and Nigerians are really concerned about the security of their lives and property. Today, I have the gang with me, and also you will hear from Nigerians on the street to see what they have to say on this matter. Join us. Don't go away. You're still watching Patito's Gang.
The reality in question here is this. I mean, for crying out loud, you need to give me an idea of how you spent what you had in the past for me to approve, for me to buy into your idea of getting a loan. So for me, I don't agree with them that I don't agree the issue of loan of 1 billion naira, because I need to know how you spent the last fund you had. So I don't think I want to buy the idea of borrowing a $1 billion loan when I don't have an idea of how you spend the last one you have.
We need to buy equipment. We need to, quite a number of the equipment the Boko Haram people are using are quite sophisticated, and there are things that we should have had over the years. Now the question is, if a ragtag military from a gang like Boko Haram can afford such equipment, what happens to our military boots? What happens to our military boots over the years? Simple question. You answer it.
The challenge of Nigeria had always been the question of corruption. Every problem is an opportunity for a few to make money. So I guess a few equipment may have been bought or will be bought, but how effective will the equipment be? Will they buy the kind of equipment that is necessary? How much of that amount of money goes into people's pockets, and how much of that money is actually used for the purpose for which it was designated? See, the question now is the issue of how well do we trust that the money borrowed will be used for the reason, for the purpose for which it was given.
We are back. This is Patito's Gang, and today we are looking at some issue that has to do with security. The military, how prepared, how capable is the Nigerian military in dealing with the insurgency that we experience in part of Nigeria. And as a result of that, the Nigerian government approached the presidency, approached the National Assembly to approve the sum of $1 billion. You multiply that by 170, you know how many trillions of naira that is, and to be able to purchase arms to fight insurgency. And we have also seen that the desertion of the military by some soldiers, some 6 senior people have just been arrested, and Boko Haram overrunning Mubi in Adamawa State. These are some of the issues we are looking at. And the gang to discuss. And I still have with me in the gang Marcel, Otumba, and Emeka. You're welcome. Gang, the military and insurgency, are we ready to deal with the insurgency? Do we have the capacity and the capability to deal with talking about the Nigerian military?
Well, my take is that we are seeing a new type of Nigerian military. Years ago, we used to have a military that was the pride of the whole world, not only of Nigeria, of Africa. And when you see a Nigerian soldier, you are very proud of him. But in the last 1 year, 2 years, change after change on top, there is no change. Things getting worse every day. I then begin to wonder, do we really now have a military in Nigeria? Would Odua Congress not do better? Would the Egbema boys not do better? And would the other vigilante groups not even do better than what is now happening? So I am concerned that there's something basically wrong somewhere, and we are not being told the truth.
Yeah. You know, Otumba, I remember that when you joined the army, you signed off you're committed to the nation. Now the nation takes care of you. Everything about you. Even when the soldier is killed, he's taking care of his family, is assured. But why the sudden dissertation in service?
Let me come in there, because I was really, after Otumba's opening speech, I was going to come there. I think what we have witnessed over the years is an absence of motivation. It surprises me that our guys, or the military guys, go abroad on peacekeeping efforts, and they come back rewarded, and they are given medals. So how come they can't, you know? And we've had instances, if you've read the papers lately, and you know, a couple of soldiers were interviewed, and they tell you that we cannot face these people with bare hands. Now, some time ago, they also did a comparative analysis of what comes to a military officer, basic emolument in Nigeria and some other places. And as Austin also mentioned the fact that, you know, for instance here, I think the average salary for a recruit or a private is about 66,000 naira. 1,000 naira. Compared to somewhere in the UK where they earn close to about 800,000 every month. And then as a military officer, you have access to all medical health, insurance, and all that.
Your entire family.
Entire family. Yeah. If anything happens to you, your family know that, you know, for life, the institution, the military institution will take care of them. That is not happening here. Secondly, a soldier was also being interviewed and said that they were rationing bullets. No, you send him to to battle the Boko Haram people, and you are rationing bullets. How does that work? You're talking about $1 billion loan. What has happened to all the previous budgets for defense? Where has the money gone? So,
the point is that, just to interject there, you know, over the years, you know, I used to ponder about it, but until I met a military expert, and he said, look, Shagari was the last person that funded what equipment for the military.
Yes, I was.
In 1983.
Yes.
And the next person doing it is Jonathan. But the point is, in time of war, because Nigeria is at war with itself, is it the right time to buy a new equipment to equip the soldiers? Don't you need time to train them on how to use them? You buy new planes, you need to many years to train the pilots to be able to pilot the plane, you know, and all that. So is it the right time, and is the money coming now? Should they get the money?
If you want my opinion on that,
Yeah.
I think it's a mix of all of this. I agree completely with the fact that the Nigerian soldiers, the military, they need to be motivated. But I will tell you also, while I agree with that, I will tell you that for many people, if you pay them $1 billion to go and die, they will not die. They will not go. Even for $1 billion, they will not die for $1 billion. They prefer to live poor to earning $1 billion and then dying the next minute. What am I trying to say? I'm saying that the crux of the matter is in having the right weapons, the right equipment to fight insurgency. You know, you talked about equipment for the military. When last was investment made in that regard? The aircraft that was just hijacked, or was it hijacked, or that actually crashed? The pilot, the pilot that was killed, you remember? You know, that aircraft was one of the aircraft that Shagari regime bought for the Air Force. It was in 1983. That since 1983 to date, I don't think that the Nigerian Air Force has ever had a new aircraft. If you get to the airport, you see some of the abandoned aircraft. Those were the aircraft bought in the 80s and what have you. What am I trying to say? We need to really, I don't really have issues with the $1 billion, you know, I don't really have issue, but the issue is in the application, in the usage, actually. As long as the lawmakers and everybody is going to put their foot down to say this is the way it's going to be used and whatever, and everything is done, the right processes put in place and what have you. I don't think that $1 billion is even enough to equip our military and get ready for future problems. But the issue is corruption. That money must come in the right way and spent the right way, and be spent the right way. Look at, for instance, by now, we are talking about forensics. Nigeria doesn't have even one single functional forensic lab. We're talking about for crime investigation. For example, I don't think we also have a central crime register. That you commit a crime here today, and it will be able to trace back to say, so many years ago, you did same thing in Sokoto and whatever. We don't have such database to take care of some of those things. So it's time for us to begin to invest in infrastructure, talking about crime investigation infrastructure, invest in military intelligence, invest in training, and we need money to do all of that. I'm not against.
No, let me come in. You can spend all that money as long as you have a crop of military guys who are not motivated, who don't see any future in what they are doing. You're wasting your time.
Yes, that was exactly what I told. I agree.
And also,
with the expenses on human resource development.
Yeah, I also, point of
well,
departure from your earlier position is this. Now you're saying that $1 billion is not too much. The question is there hope that this money will not go the way of other monies that have been voted?
That's the point that was in the process.
So that's the point.
Processes should be put in place.
Nothing gives us hope that this money will be applied for what it is meant for.
I want to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
You see, you can look at what we are seeing are the outcomes of several other decadent activities down below. We can buy equipment of $20 billion. This thing will still be as it is. You need human beings to use those machines. And if
are they trained?
And not only
have
that,
they been trained?
are they morally equipped? Are they convinced of what they are doing?
Yes.
You see, if people see all kinds of corruption around themselves, where should they go and die because of some corrupt people?
That was the point I raised.
I mean, that brings me
that was the
to
point
there's a basic foundation.
That brings me to the issue of the mutiny.
The old honor and integrity that built up in the army is gone.
Yeah.
Somebody has to rebuild it.
So how do we begin to rebuild it without investments? How do we now begin to rebuild it?
The military as an institution is also
so
corrupt.
the $1 billion we're talking about should actually take care of both human resources, training the military, paying them well, and doing
hold that thought
things.
there. Hold that thought there. We'll be right back. We'll continue the conversation when we come back after this time out. Don't go away. Still watching Patitos Gang.
Patitos Gang, Nigeria's favorite television talk show, is back on local terrestrial TV. The 30-minute potpourri goes to the heart of the matter with its focus on the common good, making government accountable to the people and deepening democracy. Your ultimate electronic village square talk show makes a big comeback with Eugene Ohu and Austin Nweze as co-pilots. Patitos Gang features credible voices from all sides of the political divide in a no-holds-barred discussion. Watch out for Patitos Gang airing on STV Monday night, midnight. Patitos Gang, more vibrant, more incisive, and more analytical than ever.
We are back. You're still watching Patitos Gang, and we are talking about the military and the insurgency and the $1 billion loan that the federal government wants to use to purchase equipment to equip our militaries to be at par or even better than the insurgents. Yeah, and Master, I took it off your mouth. You were saying, continue with where you stopped.
Yes, I was trying to say that we actually need to invest not just in human capital. I'm talking about, when I'm talking about human capital, I'm talking about the personnel themselves. We need to pay them well. We need to train them. We need to do a whole lot of things to encourage, give them the motivation. But we also need to invest in equipment to fight the war.
Now, let me ask, in addition to that, how many of these junior army officers live in their own homes?
Before we conclude,
how many of them live in their own homes? Because in Singapore, for instance, over 80% of the military and even the police, they own their own homes.
That was a policy that Lee Kuan started when he became president. But what I'm saying is
before that, you need money. You need money to do a whole lot of that.
The military as an institution is not different from you and I, we live in the same Nigeria. The military is also politicized. The other day, the guys who planned the coup against Babangida, the Oka coup, or is it the coup?
Yes, they were talking.
Lieutenant Echendo
was
talking about serious, that, integrity, professionalism, and everything had been
eroded,
compromised, and eroded, even during Babangida's regime. You get to a certain position, not necessarily because of the level of competence, but because you're from a certain part of the country, or how highly connected you are to the person.
And also, I was told that no military regime will ever equip the military because it's a security issue. Obasanjo didn't do it. Babangida didn't do it. Because if you equip the military, they will use it to fight you.
So in order to don't need sophisticated weapon to remove a civilian. I don't agree with that. I don't really agree with that.
That argument.
Sorry, Otumba.
Okay, Otumba.
Now, the foundation now we have for the military was not the old foundation. You had people, all kinds of characters can apply and join the military academy. Now, it is only the children of the retired generals
who don't want to die.
So that, and these children are spoiled children, they don't want to die. So the time when before anybody could apply, you take an exam and you can join the military. But now, almost in every public service area, only the sons of those who are in charge are then being engaged. Those guys are not trained, are not committed to die for Nigeria. And also in the army, you know it before. Once you recruit a military man, today is in Sandhurst, tomorrow is in India, the next day is in Japan, the next day is in America training. You are no longer seeing that kind of training now anymore. They are not training the people anymore.
How many of those top brass go to war? It's the lower ranks, the people, the private and others, that are the ones who are sent to the battlefield. Now, just to cite an example, that is not always the case where the children of the rich don't want to die. Obasanjo's son led and was shot by Boko Haram. And even on his hospital bed, what he said was that all he wanted was to get well and go back to the battlefront.
He's motivated.
So these are issues. These are self-motivation. These are people who are patriotic.
Is that a political statement?
No. And there are several others like that. Contrast that with a situation where a general, the mutiny we experienced last time, insisted that these guys come back from a military operation the same day. And the guys were tired. And they said, look, allow us rest so that we could come back. Because they had information that somebody somewhere, the Boko Haram guys were, and on their way back they were ambushed and all killed. And that was how they shot at the GOC.
Not
and
all of them.
Some of them. That was how they injury. I mean, and when they brought their corpses, their colleagues became enraged and shot at the GOC. That is to show you that sometimes, even within the military, you have people who are also working against the military itself. You have people who are also giving information to the enemy. You have people who are doing it either for political reasons or just pecuniary reasons. So it is a whole lot of problem. It's not something you can isolate. The issue with the military is not something you can also isolate from what is happening within the larger Nigerian society.
There is something that has worried me a little bit.
Yes.
We've had all this cascade of misfortunes before the last 3 months. Why has the Senate not considered necessary to hold a public of whatever hearing to find out what is going on? Nobody knows what is going on. And where will this stop?
Okay. By having a public hearing, will it?
It will give information.
Yes. No, really. I don't think that issues of military.
It will be an investigation of a special study. It's not a public.
Is it a public thing?
I don't. Special committee.
Even the money, even the 1 billion.
I don't think.
Even the 1 billion. Some people argue that look, it's not going to be thrown open to the public domain to debate. What he could have done was just to go in there. If he needs money, he knows how he gets approval to get money. He gets money without the public knowing about it.
Yeah, the point
I'm making. Talking of getting money.
The point I'm making that we don't need to
raise money. But if Nigerians must also be committed and interested and interested in this kind of thing. But when you hear people now carrying money in chartered craft to go and buy aircraft, Nigerians believe that there's some deal going on. And
no, because they don't have an idea. This is the first time that weapons are being purchased and you make it public knowledge. In the gun dealing, gun business.
Is that the American buy guns?
Of course. That's how people, they have agents. Go and ask Aton Zeribe. how he was able to get supply arms.
Yes.
Go and ask
It's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's not really new. It's not new.
You knew,
And
because
it's
American government, sorry please, American government, they're not ready to sell arms to you now. Because their fear is that it will still go back to the insurgents.
Why should it go back to the insurgents?
Because of experience.
And why should it be
In
that?
Libya, the equipment they use in doing this thing, it's now what they're also using.
Because of some problem.
Yes. So that's why they're not. So you have to buy arms by all means.
Yeah, I think the problem we have that we have a very dangerous mix. And what is that dangerous mix? We have insurgency, and then we have 2015.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very bad mix. And both in the way we interpret it and whatever.
Yeah.
So we are having all this debate because 2015 is here.
Now,
I don't see, $1 billion.
Yes. That's the,
We don't,
yes.
it's a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But do we fold our hands and say, let's all die? $1 billion, get loan of 2, as long as the processes are put in place, and I'm sure that corruption will not eat into it.
No, the point you're making, the gentleman, the point he's making about 2015 and this $1 billion. I remember 2011 that some state governors went and borrowed money from the stock raise bonds.
Yes. Do you know how much the states?
Up till now,
Yeah.
they have not executed that project. They use it to execute electionary campaigns.
And let me tell you the very dangerous mix now. Let me tell you what just came up. Just last week, in fact, early this week, yes, recently. The issue came up. The court actually said the FOI, that's the Freedom of Information Act,
Yes.
it does not really cover this because it's on the exclusive list. It's not on the concurrent list. That is only binding on the federal government. And what was the subject of that litigation? That the states should disclose how much that they took as bonds,
As bonds,
in,
okay.
in the stock
And the
market,
project they
and whatever. And they said you have no right, the Nigerians have no right,
To
the
know.
state agents have no right
To
to know
know.
how much and what they apply for. And the court
So
gave
what,
leave to that.
So this FOI bill is just
it's also threatened. It's also for the federal, meaning that. But then when you talk about wages,
yeah,
which is also on the exclusive list,
yeah.
they will say, okay, it's on the exclusive list. The wage is talking about minimum wage.
Yeah.
It's on the exclusive list, meaning that federal government legislate on it and whatever the minimum wage is at the center, then the states are going to pay. Labour is saying, if it's exclusive, that means the states should comply.
So which way forward, gentlemen? How do we?
No, but before we chat, just let me make a point.
Make your last comment.
Yes. Before we chat a way forward, I would like to ask: are we in agreement that the $1 billion request loan to import military hardware, what we have, is it in order?
Okay.
Secondly, we also want to establish a way agreement that that money will be applied for what it is meant for. Thirdly, is this an admission of failure on the part of Nigerian government? That they do not have what it takes to contain insurgency. Because this is not conventional warfare, for goodness sake.
Okay.
We are not engaged in a full-scale war. Okay. This is insurgency that is affecting pockets of states within the Nigerian Federation.
Okay. So, the
what
pockets affecting that, even establishing Islamic rule, the taking over and all that. How many are these insurgents?
Exactly.
We
in the light of what is happening, in the light of what is happening currently, we said there's going to be.
So
we learned that there will be.
Final comments for.
Now, I don't really mind how much the government needs to fight insurgency or whatever, but at the time it's coming, with the election and things like that, it's an issue. Also, the lack of public confidence in the government itself is an issue. But then the point is that when the money is taken, would it heal the problem we have? I'm not too sure about that.
All right, thank you. Yes.
I think that we need sincerity on the part of government, one, and we need support on the part of citizenry to address the issue of insurgency. And again, we don't only have to invest in military infrastructure only when we have war at hand. It's a continuous process. Every nation does that.
Okay. All right. Taking it off from that, on that note of sincerity, a former American president once said that when you tell the people the truth, the nation is safe. And on that note, time is not on our side. We agree at the gang that yes, we need to do something about the military, and then the insurgency is here with us to stay, and whether we can eradicate it completely or not, the future will tell. Don't go away. You're still watching Patito's Gang. We'll be right back. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain to this week's episode of Patito's Gang. You have heard from the gang that no matter what happens, Nigeria must remain together as a united country. And we must overcome our challenges. And we count on every Nigerian to hold forth and never give up, because victory is on our side. So, join us next week, same station, same time.
It seems as if no one